I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
As usual, we have a commitment, but we will never force him to race, said the former MXGP motocross racer. This man from Germany also stated that Pedrosa continued to show strong performance in the closed test at Jerez. As a result, there is potential for Pedrosa to achieve good results again, as he did in his wild card last season. I think he's ready. He just had to say yes and go there. We are ready for him, concluded Byrer. For the record, together with Aprilia, KTM is in Category C of the concession rules. And here is the full news. KTM Racing Director, Pit Byrer, said that his party might re-involve a senior racer, Dani Pedrosa, to take a wildcard slot in MotoGP 2024. However, he has to look at the team's current needs first. As is known, Pedrosa has been a KTM test rider or test racer in the last few seasons. He also often gets the opportunity to take wildcards in MotoGP races. Last season, Pedrosa appeared twice with KTM as a wildcard. One of them occurred during the 2023 Spanish MotoGP series. Pedrosa's performance on that occasion did not disappoint his team. Because of this, Pit Byrer said that his party was considering re-involving Dani Pedrosa. I think so, Pit Byrer, quoted from the MotoGP page, Sunday. Byrer said Dani Pedrosa is currently training to maintain his condition. Of course, his party will see the readiness of the racer before appearing on the track, possibly at the 2024 Spanish MotoGP, which will be held on April 28, 2024. Dani did some tests for us in Jerez this week. I think he is preparing, said Byrer. Pit Byrer said that at this time his party could not make any decisions. However, he praised Dani Pedrosa for consistently maintaining his performance. We will never force him to race. In this week's trials he appeared very strong and fast. I think he is ready, he concluded. In other information, KTM Motorsport Director, Pit Byrer, stated that his party was ready to field test rider, Dani Pedrosa, again in the Spanish MotoGP at the Jerez circuit on April 26 to 28, 2024. However, the final decision was in Pedrosa's own hands, because KTM did not want to force him. Pedrosa is known to have retired from MotoGP at the end of 2018. After 18 years of defending Honda in Grand Prix events, the three-time world champion surprisingly chose to move to KTM as a test rider. For 2.5 years, he refused to undergo a wildcard with KTM. However, Pedrosa finally yielded to KTM's demands, undergoing his first wildcard at the 2021 Austrian MotoGP, where he finished 10th. In 2023, he will return to racing at the Spanish and San Marino MotoGPs, trying out the 2 races per weekend format for the first time. KTM test rider, Dani Pedrosa, see KTM images. In his 2 wildcards last season, Pedrosa appeared much more impressive, taking part in the race for the podium in both the Sprint and Grand Prix. This made KTM interested again in asking him to undertake a wildcard race in 2024. Later, he will also be tasked with collecting data. Byrer stated that Pedrosa and KTM had undergone a closed test at Jerez last week. This will certainly benefit Pedrosa if he really goes down as a wildcard at the end of this month. However, Byrer left the decision to Pedrosa. I think so, Pedrosa will have a wildcard. Dani has tested again for us in Jerez this week. I feel he is prepared for that. As usual, we have a commitment, but we will never force him to race, said the former MXGP motocross racer. This man from Germany also stated that Pedrosa continued to show strong performance in the closed test at Jerez. As a result, there is potential for Pedrosa to achieve good results again, as he did in his wild card last season. The final decision is his to say, I want to race. However, he looked quite strong and was fast again in this week's test. I think he's ready. He just had to say yes and go there. We are ready for him, concluded Byrer. For the record, together with Aprilia, KTM is in Category C of the concession rules. They are allocated 6 wildcards per season, and their engines are not subject to a specification freeze. A maximum of 3 wildcards can be used before the summer testing ban, while the other 3 can be used after the summer testing ban. On the other hand, KTM test rider Dani Pedrosa looks strong and fast, just needs his approval to appear as a wildcard at Jerez. KTM test rider Dani Pedrosa has received another wildcard for his home race, the Spanish MotoGP at Jerez. Pedrosa, winner of 31 MotoGP races for Honda before retiring to become a KTM test rider, was in superb form last year by leading opening practice, qualifying in 6th place and performing strongly to finish 6th, sprint race, and 7th, GP, at last year's Jerez round then. With the addition of Pol Espargaro as a test and wildcard racer, the exact schedule for both racers is unclear. However, KTM Motorsport director Pit Beirer hinted Pedrosa will ride the third factory RC16 at Jerez. "I think so," Pit Beirer told Dorna's Jack Appleyard, when asked about Pedrosa's Jerez wildcard. "If we're in Jerez this week, I feel like he's prepared for that. We will never force him to do a race, so in the end the final call is always on his side to say, 'I want to go.' But he is quite strong and fast. I feel like he's ready. He just needed to say, yes, we are ready for him." After heroics at Jerez last year, Pedrosa, 38, then featured at Misano in September. He finished just shy of the podium in both races while introducing a carbon fiber chassis for the RC16. Meanwhile, the location of Espargaro's first race appearance since last year's Valencia final remains unclear.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast.